What's good? What's good? What's good, everyone? You know what time it is. It's Tell Your Boy. All right, so we're gonna hop into this right and show you how to set up the Evan Cabral binary strategy on your trading view, all the different values, everything, so you can have this chart on yours and you can start to slay these markets. All right. So as you see here, typically your chart's going to look like this. I would suggest to have the upgraded version, like I've said in previous videos, because what I like to do is look at multiple time frames and at least have a side by side. Also, you'll need the upgraded one if you want, all four of these indicators, right? So let's get into it. I'm going to clear all of this out, right? Take all this away. All right, so your chart may look like this. It may be white in the background. I like mine to be dark. That's just my preference, right? So this is what your chart will look like. You're going to come here to indicators, all right? Come here to indicators. You're going to type in Evan. It's going to be this Evan Cabral binary strategy 2 by Lemuels, 17, and it has like 1799 downloads, likes, uses, whatever that is, right? Anyways, we're going to click on this. And then the indicator will pop up, shows the Bollinger Bands, right? Which are these red and blue lines. And then you have these red shorter lines right here. These are resistance zones, right? These are resistance levels, right? So that's where price is going up, then ends up changing direction and going back down, right? Resistance levels. If you don't know about support, resistance, and trend lines, I highly suggest you learn about support, resistance, and trend lines, because if you don't know about it, you don't need to be trading. Simple as that. You need to learn the fundamentals, right? A lot of people like to hop into this and just learn a strategy and then just go for it. You really should learn the fundamentals. Learn Forex in general before you start hopping on and, risking your money trading in binary options or just trading in general. Make sure you understand, how price action works and how market structure and how the smart money concept is a huge thing, okay? But that's the thing for a whole nother video. So anyways, we have our Evan Cabral indicator right here, which shows you the Bollinger Bands, resistance lines. The green lines are your support lines, right? Then you have this purple line, which is your 200 EMA, okay? So when you click that, right, you don't have to change anything. You don't want to. You can have these support and resistance lines there if you want to. Typically, I don't. So what you can do is click on this pinwheel, which is the settings button, and these first two plots, right? You see they're red and green. These are your resistance and your support lines. So I just uncheck those, and as you can see, they disappeared. And I click OK, right? So this is typically what I like mine to look like. The resistance lines and the support lines, they help a little bit. However, for this strategy, it's not really necessary. Plus, if you have an understanding of, of the foreign exchange market and how to analyze charts, right, you should know about support and resistance lines. So it shouldn't even bother you that those are gone, okay? I don't know what is... Give me a second. Give me 1 second. My music is, I don't know. It's, it's something. Let's, all right, let's see. All right, we're gonna do this. This should work. There we go. All right, I'm sorry. All right, so back to this, right? So this was your first indicator, right? This is what we're looking at. Okay. Now, the next indicator that you're gonna go for is stochastic RSI. So you're gonna type in, oh my gosh, STOCH, and you'll click stochastic RSI. Okay. You're going to click this twice. All right. So when you click it twice, these two should pop up. And what you're going to do is for this first one, right? You're gonna click on the settings. You can keep all this the same, right? But you're gonna go to inputs, and it's gonna be 3, 3. Your RSI length and your stochastic length, we're gonna change that to 6. All right, changing that to 6, and boom. Then what I'll do, I'll save it as default. That's just me. So any time that you know you have a chart and you put a stochastic RSI, it's going to come up with these values right here, right? So that's entirely up to you if you want to do that. And then this second one, we're going to keep it at 3, 3, 14, 14. We're not even going to touch it, right? Not even going to touch it. All right, last indicator, DMI stochastic. And it's going to be this DMI stochastic Extreme by UCS Gears, okay? Now, be careful because there's one that says DMI stochastic extreme with the little dash. We don't want to use that one. We want to use the DMI stochastic extreme, okay? So click that, and this will pop up, right? And all your settings are going to stay this. Actually, with your settings, you're going to go to style, okay? You're going to go to style, then you're going to come down to this eye and this GAN swing low, right? This may show, I don't know what this shows for originally. Let me see. It should show a B and a S, but if it doesn't, you can easily come in here and you can just type in B. This is for buy, then you can type in S for that. And so I'll just save that as default and click OK. So then your chart setup should look like this, right? Your chart should definitely look like this. So now that it looks like this, now we have our chart set up, right? I think I showed in the other video, you know, how to utilize this strategy. Okay. There are, you know, and we talked about the dangers of taking a trade while price is near the 200 EMA, right? Typically, I don't do that. Okay. And when we're looking at these stochastics to be either overbought or oversold, the ideal trade setup that we look for is we want both of these lines for both stochastic RSIs. We want both of those lines to either be showing oversold or overbought, right? We want both of them. If we're looking for, you know, we're looking for sells, then we want the market to be overbought, for example, right? So we want these two lines for this stochastic RSI. We want those two lines, as you see here, to be overbought. Okay, we have that. Along with the second stochastic RSI, we want both of those lines to be overbought as well, right? Right now, if we come here, let's look here, okay? If you were to see this, right, you see one line, this blue line for the first stochastic RSI is overbought, but this orange line isn't overbought yet, right? So me personally, if I saw a setup that looked like that, I wouldn't take it. Now, you can still win a trade. I'm not saying that you can't, but however, for my set of rules, I wait till both of the lines are either oversold or overbought, right? I wait till both of those lines are indicating that to me, just because that gives me an even greater chance of executing that trade and clearing that trade, okay? So, what do we look for, right? Typical, an excellent trade that we look for, right? These are all 5-minute trades, fixed time, anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes. Typically, I do 5 minutes fixed time, and I usually have a limit of only one rollover. There are very few instances where I have taken two, but for the most part, I typically only do one rollover. Now, what we look for, right? What we look for, and this is just a refresher, right? If you really want to dive in and, you know, see exactly how this works, you can watch my other video as well, the one that was uploaded before this. And it is almost 9 o'clock, so I may be able to, you know, find a little trade set up since it's 9 at night, and see if we can find something for, you know, Tokyo Sydney session. All right. But anyways, what we look for, right, is first thing, we're looking on the 5-minute time frame, right? We want price to be touching these Bollinger Bands. This is a perfect setup, right? This is going to be a perfect setup, right? Okay, so we want price to be touching the Bollinger Bands. So we see some different instances where price is coming and touching the Bollinger Bands, right? Still see some different instances where price is touching the Bollinger Bands, okay? So you see all these, you know, areas where price is touching the Bollinger Bands. When you find an area where price is touching the Bollinger Bands or outside of the Bollinger Bands, then you come down to the stochastic RSIs, right? And you see if they correspond to your potential trade setup, right? So if I see, let's see. So say if I see here, right? I see price right here is touching the Bollinger Band, right? It's touching the top Bollinger Bands. So remember, the Bollinger Bands are like rubber bands, right? 90% of the price action happens in between them. So we know if price starts to get to those rubber bands, price may extend out, right? But it's going to snap back, right? It's going to come and snap back eventually. So because we see it touching the top Bollinger Bands, now we're looking for sells, okay? So we want to find indicators that this market is overbought. So we come down to our stochastic RSI, our first one. We see both of these lines are indicating that it's overbought. Awesome. Then we come down to the second stochastic RSI, which indicates, and we see that both of the lines, you know, are overbought as well, indicating the market is overbought. So cool, we have those confirmations. Now we come down to our DMI stochastic, right? We see our DMI stochastic, right, is also overbought right here, right? So this is the area right here. This is where the stochastic RSIs are both overbought. Both of the lines are indicating an overbought market, right? You also have the DMI stochastic, which is also overbought, right? And those and so now that we find that, right, we have all our confirmations for the larger time frame, right? And it's not close to the 200 EMA. So now we scale down to the 2 minute, right? Scale down to the 2 minute. Okay. We scale down to the 2 minute, right? And we see that it was oversold right here, right? But look, the 2 minute is not touching the Bollinger Bands yet, right? It's not touching the Bollinger Bands. You don't even have your both stochastic RSIs overbought yet. So now what do? Right? We wait for price on the 2 minutes to come touch the Bollinger Bands and we get our confirmations. So, right? Price is started right here. We're going to just change this to white, right? And then we come and we go candle by candle. This is where it finally touched the Bollinger Band, right? So we come down, we see if it's overbought on the stochastic RSI. It's not yet. It's overbought on the DMI, but not the stochastic RSI. So we go to the next one, wait for the next one. Okay, so we come here. We've got, you know, both of the lines, the blue line and just barely this orange line is showing overbought. But for the second stochastic RSI, purple line is only overbought and the yellow line isn't overbought yet, not until the next candle, right? You see the DMI stochastic is overbought. So then you come here to the next one, right? And this is where you find your setup, right? This is where you find your setup right here. Okay, so this is where you find your setup. So you see both of the lines on the stochastic are both overbought on both stochastic RSIs. Then you come down to your DMI stochastic. Look, you got your S. So now you're waiting on that extension. And remember, with the extension, you can add You can add a horizontal line right here. Double click it, and you'll go to settings. You'll change the coordinates to 50. That way you'll know it'll be exactly at that 50. And remember what we wait for on the extension? We wait for a candle to close and this line to close below this 50 level. So if you come to this next candle, look, We're gonna move this over just one, okay? So this next candle is where we got this extension, and to pull it up, now it looks kind of wild right now, but we got this extension right here, and if you see, this extension was right here. This is where the candle closed, and you see it closed below our 50 level, right? So that's our extension. So now, because we see this, we have all our confirmations from the 5 minute, and we have our confirmations from the 2 minutes to finally enter. So then what would I have done, right? I would have entered for a 5 minute put, right? Fixed time. I would have entered as a 5 minute put. So let's see, 8:49. So I would have entered at roughly 350. Okay. At 350, I just want to see exactly where this was at. All right, cool. This is October 14th. So just to show you exactly, we're going to go down to the 1 minute just so I can show you minute by minute, right? Just so I can show you minute by minute. And all right. So this is where the candle opened, and then it ended up closing right here, right? Well, right here, technically, my bad. This is where it closed. So then what I would have done, as soon as this candle closed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this ended up closing at 103. You essentially would have ended up entering at 118, or if you would have gotten a better position, but you would have cleared that trade, right? Even, you know, say you would have entered right here, right? And then you would have saw that price came up. So you would have thought, okay, maybe it's going to keep going up. So you would have rolled over, right? Even if you would have rolled over, 1, 2, 3.
Hold on, G. We about to pause this. Oh, that's crazy, yo. I can't believe that got recorded. Yo, I don't know what I just saw. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I just saw. But I saw something moving, so I was out. Feel me? Like, there's... Alright, so as I was saying, before I was so rudely interrupted, right? Even if you would have decided to roll over, you still would have cleared that trade, right? You still would have cleared 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This would have closed at 0.75. So you would have gotten in at 118 or higher if you got a better position, and it would have closed at 0.75. You would have been deep in profit if you would have rolled over. So that's the perfect setup, right? That's typically what I look for. Now, understand, there will be times where on the 5 minute time frame, price isn't touching the Bollinger Bands, but these indicators are showing that, you know, the market is either overbought or oversold, and you can still get entries, right? Because what really matters is, say on the 5 minute time frame, price isn't touching the Bollinger Bands. If you go down on the 2 minute time frame, right? If you go down on the 2 minute time frame, then if price is touching the Bollinger Bands, you still have your confirmation for an entry, right? So for example, all right, let's see, right, we're gonna go right here, all right? So right here, we see price isn't touching any of the Bollinger Bands. It's pretty much right in the middle, but the stochastic RSIs and the DMI stochastic is indicating an overbought market, okay? So we'd be looking for sells, right? We'd be looking for selling opportunities. So now that we see that, we come down to our 2 minute, right? We come down to our 2 minute. And we wait for our confirmations on our 2 minute, right? But you see here, you don't ever get any confirmations. Even though this price drops and this looks like a good sell, I wouldn't have gotten into this because I didn't have any confirmations. Plus, look how close it is to this 200 EMA, right? So that's that. I mean, that's one example of, you know, not to do. Let me see if I can find one where it's not touching the Bollinger Bands. Let's see. Okay, cool. Let's see if we can see this right here. What we could even do. So we have here, it broke, and also here. Okay? We could even do, you know, right here as well. So we see these, right? Not touching the Bollinger Bands. Not touching the Bollinger Bands. But we see here, first stochastic RSI is indicating an oversold market. Second is also indicating an oversold market, and the DMI stochastic is also indicating an oversold market, right? Same thing with this area right here, and same thing with this area right here. So you drop down to the 2 minute, okay? You drop down to the 2 minute, you scale in. All right. All right, so then you come down to this first one, right? You see it breaks right here. You got your B pop up. Now you wait for that extension. Candle closes. You got the extension because it closes above the 50 level. And then you'd enter for a 5 minute trade. And you would have cleared this trade, right? 1, 2, 5. You would have cleared that trade. Okay, come to the next one. Right? This instance, okay? Comes, breaks. You got a B. You have a B, and it's extending in the same move, right? See? If you see here, you got your B, and it's also extending. The same exact candle. Now, what I do, if you ever see that, right? Because what we usually do, we see this B pop up, right? And then we wait for the extension, right? But when you see this B pop up, or an S, and the extension on the same candle as you do here, right? Let me show you. So right here, you see we got the B popped up, and it also broke. So you got your extension as well, right? Whenever that happens, I wait for price to come back to the opening of that candle, right? Because in my experience, 8 out of 10 times, price is going to retrace back to the opening of that candle and then make its move, right? So, for example, this candle closes, right? I see that it has the B and it also has the extension. So I look to see, okay, where did this candle open? 484, right? Bro, I'm all like jittery now. But 484. So I would wait for price to come back to 484, right? And then we see here, the low is 489, and this low was 487, right? So even if you come over here, this low is 490, and it didn't hit 484 or below until this candle, right? It didn't hit 484 or below until this candle. So essentially, you could have cleared this trade, rolled over, you would have cleared it. But even here, right, it came back to 487 and then made that move up. So it didn't come right back to 484, but it came pretty close, So typically that's just my rule of thumb, is I wait for it to hit this entry. The opening of the candle. So as you see here, it didn't hit 484 until over here. And, you could have entered 1, 2, essentially could have cleared. If you wanted to roll over, you could have rolled that over and boom, So typically that's what I mean when I say, on the 5-minute time frame, it doesn't have to be touching the Bollinger Bands. You could still get entries. However, for the highest, oh my goodness, I can't speak. For the highest probability of a successful trade, right? The 5-minute time frame, it would be nice if it was touching the Bollinger Bands. But, like I said, you can still find setups. So that's typically the strategy. It's that simple, right? Just understand when you do, when you do have these little trading sessions and whatnot, be very patient. I'm pretty sure I stated in my previous video, I'll hop on between 9 and 11 a.m. and may not take my first trade till 9:20, sometimes 9:30, And typically in an hour session, taking 3 trades is good for me in an hour session, So I think today was roughly like 1 hour and 45 minutes. I traded till about 10:45 today, and I took 5 trades. So I believe I did. Hold on. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I took 5 trades. So out of the last 3 days, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? I'm 12, 4, and 1. And that 1 is just the break even. Some people don't record their break evens, but I like to record it just because, it shows me, hey, this trade, closed at the same price you entered. So I just like keeping track of that. But I'm 12, 4, and 1 for the past 3 days, So I've taken 17 trades in 3 days. That's about 5 trades a day. That's it. So let's see if we can. Oh, now another thing, because I told y'all to get the upgraded version. This is why, so you don't have to keep flipping back and forth, right? So we are going to see if we can find a setup. Give me 1 second. What are we gonna do? All right, we're gonna log into our demo account for Viad Forex. I would hop into my live account, but I already made my goal today, so there's no point in me over trading. All right, going 5 minutes, 6 time, and I am just gonna show y'all just like proper risk, because even though this is my demo account, we really want to get to the habit of using proper risk management, right? So 5% of 279. Not 5%, I'm sorry, 3% of 279 is roughly $8. And then 2% is roughly $5. So we can risk anywhere from $5 to $8 typically. When it comes to me, just because I don't know if I'm gonna have to roll over or not. Now I risk 2%. So we're just gonna go with 5. Right? And I want a lot of people to understand, right, when we talk about, this being a long-term game and you compounding your account and using your proper risk, some people may look at it like, oh, you're only risking $5, like you'll only make $3. And it's like, yeah, for now. But you think about it, you know, say if I take 5 of these trades, win all of those trades, now I've made, you know, $15 in profit on those trades. You know what I'm saying? And this is just start off like, and then you secure those profits and you grow your account, you compound your account, and then the more your, you know, your initial balance is, you know, the more you're able to properly risk. You have to understand it's probabilities. Like that's literally all it is. So let's see. See, I typically not trade at this time at all. So I don't even know if there's any like good setups or what. Ooh. Yeah, so there's really nothing that's like setting up right now. I'm very curious how this is about to close. Sorry, I'm just seeing how this will close because let's see, this closed at 668. I would have essentially rolled over. I just want this candle to close above 668 because if it does, then it pretty much proves my point. Okay, so this closed. Because I'm sitting here thinking like, yo, this would have been a setup for me, you know, like I would have taken this. That is very interesting. Very interesting. Because if I would have taken this, and the reason I would have taken it, right? Because we come here on the 5 minute, we see right here, touching the bottom Bollinger Band, so we're looking for buys. We see the stochastic RSI, both lines are oversold. Second stochastic RSI, both lines are also oversold, and along with the DMI. So come down on the 2 minute, touching the Bollinger Band. All right, oversold, and then the DMI is also oversold. So now we wait for the rebreak, then the extension. All right, the B popped up right here, right? And then we got the extension right here, right? So this candle, once this candle closed, essentially, you know, I would have gone in for a 5 minute, a 5 minute call. And then if you come here, you know, 1, 2, and then like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This closed at 666, 666, right? This closed at 668. So even if you would have rolled over, if you didn't get in like 666 or below, then you wouldn't have cleared. And you know, if that happens, it happens. But like when you're using your proper risk, there's nothing that you have to worry about. You know what I'm saying? Because you know that, hey, at the end of the day, you're still going to be profitable. But yeah, I don't see anything. I'll record some trades off my morning session tomorrow. Ooh, tomorrow's Friday. I don't typically trade on Fridays. I will hop on though, just to see if I can find anything. I don't know, man. I'm thinking about staying off tomorrow. We got some major USD news in the morning. So most likely will not trade tomorrow. I think what I'll do is I'll just hop on my demo account and see if I can find anything. And then we'll go from there. Because typically I don't trade Fridays. So I mean, I would love to show you guys on my live account. But typically I only trade Tuesdays through Thursdays. I may scan the market on Mondays and Fridays, and if I find some good setups, I may take them. But for now, I mean, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I've been in my bag. So